Well, I think this is at least a good time for us to get started on just getting a chance to know you. This is our goddess, Angelica Muniz. Is that how you say pronounce it?
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. Try to pride myself on getting people's names right. There's too many variations,
Yeah. You
but
could.
we are here to discuss the spiritual journey that you've been going on or that you're a part of now. And we're looking at the importance of home births, which I'm especially interested to know about. So I will let you get started and let you introduce yourself on your terms.
Okay. Um. So my name is Angelica. I also go by Jelly Moon or Gem Inai is my artist name.
Mm,
Um. Mm-hmm. So I kind of dabble into a lot of different things. All part of the journey, trying to figure out where I fit in and what works best for me and what doesn't. And I'm still figuring it out and I'm still cleaning out and doing
yeah.
all that stuff. So
Yeah, none of this is linear.
yeah, yeah. It's just a journey that's like a never ending. Like, yes, I've healed. Wait a minute. What is that? I was like, oh, cycle. You know what I mean? So
You're right.
it's just like never ending. I was like, did I miss a spot? What do I do?
Yeah, you realize your smaller spots are actually giving you more attention. Like, actually, you still got to come clean that up. And it's like,
Yeah.
I was
Like you
taking care
miss a
of
spot, like do I have to go through the whole cycle though? You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like that's my spirit guy is like, do I have to go through it again? Can I like skip? Can I jump this time? You know, like if I learn all that other stuff, you know, be like, yeah, but it's the whole lesson. And then it's just like, it's like those little itty bitty details that just,
Yeah.
you know. So
Yeah. Okay.
yeah, other than that, if I could ask, because I do like to, I do like speaking a lot. So if you can keep
Hmm.
me on track and let me know, hey, go to the next subject,
Well,
stuff like
yeah.
that.
Okay.
I'll be
Yeah.
mindful as much as I can. Just
All
some
right.
chat. Yeah.
Um, I do also want to give myself a chance to introduce myself because, as I said, I'm actually a new co-host,
Mm,
and now I'm being put down as the host for this episode. But I am Ashe. I go by Ashe in my public spaces, and I am relatively new to podcasting. But I started my own maybe a couple years back, and what kind of started on talking about like the little bits of my spiritual journey that have been either astrology led or learning about numerology and like a lot of different systems that I came across. So that's really
mhm.
where my interest point kind of started. And then it just went from there to tarot to really digging up like the type of tools that I wanted to use for the spiritual journey.
Mm, yeah.
So
Yeah. My apologies. I didn't continue.
yeah, no. I didn't even bother to go through the introduction initially. So I'm like, oh yeah, wait, I introduced you and forgot to introduce myself. Like I'm not new here. So,
You're good.
um,
That's great.
but I am glad to see that we're getting this up and going. I know we were talking about home births today. We're talking about like again getting into your spiritual journey, like the ancestors calling. So I guess we will start with we did start off a little bit with your spiritual journey and kind of learning and seeing how you're progressing through it. Was there
Progressing.
let's say, is there anything else you wanted to add to that?
My apologies. I did cut you off. So what I yeah, it's been a journey basically. Of course. I actually started out I started out religious and
Mm.
then I met an individual that just kind of 360'd my entire life. And then from that point I started learning things on a spiritual note. Like every month it was something different.
Hmm.
And just as it was every month I was learning something different, every month I was somewhere different,
Oh wow.
basically. So it would be like, okay, well, now we're here for a month, and now we're here for a month. And so I kind of traveled around, if they may say, homelessness, like I actually have finished college and everything like that. And then all of a sudden it was just like, oh, the school of hard knocks, you know what I mean? So now
You're
I needed to pass the university of the streets, the streets.
right.
So, yeah, so then I was doing that for about a 4.5 years. So I lived in bandos and I traveled abroad, no money, no phones, nothing like that. Just by the grace of, people and their hearts and everything like that. Um, that's when I started learning about different type of religions. Because
Mm.
it wasn't until that point that I was just like, oh yeah, I mean, I knew there were other ones, but I never dabbled into it because I was so caught up with the heaven and hell and that kind of
Yeah,
stuff. And
our good old Judeo
yeah, just kind of opened up my
roots.
eyes to open the door to other things. And then once that happened, oh, it was a wrap. I was just like, oh, okay, with Buddhism. So I got into that. I was just like, okay, okay, I get it. I like this. I like this. Okay, I don't like that. So I'm not going to rock with that. And then I just started formulating my own relationship with the source, if you
Mm-hmm.
will, and how it has been impacting me and guiding me to where I am now. Um, so yeah, so that's basically how it is. And yeah, I've gotten, I right now what's sticking is the meditations, the astrology, the numerologies, the things like that, because I'm constantly looking at triple numbers. Like we hopped on and I caught already
Mm.
one when you were saying something, my eye just caught it and I was like, oh, cool.
Oh.
And then you introduced yourself and I caught 333 and I was like, oh,
Oh,
cool.
wow.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
So that's just how the journey has just transformed itself to be. And it was just, yeah, it's been an amazing ride.
That's good. Well, yeah. I
Challenging.
mean,
Trying.
I say it comes with its ups and downs, but yeah, we're still here, still going, still standing, still learning. So I think
Yes.
that's a big part of it for sure.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I know angel numbers show up almost nonstop for me. Like even when I'm heading into work, I'll catch them on a license plate, like literally at least one,
Hmm.
and I'm
Hmm.
like, it just gives me a chance to take a moment to pause, not like fully, but to take a moment
Hmm.
mentally and just say, okay, yeah, you're here, you're present, and you know that spirit's speaking to you in real time.
Hmm.
So that's comforting in its own way, I believe.
It
Um,
is.
Now, I know we were talking about home births. I'm interested in that. I'm actually I'm a first time mom. My daughter is 2, and I initially wanted to go into like at least a natural birthing like area. We have
Mhm.
one up here in Michigan through what's now Corwell. They had a natural birthing center inside of the hospital, and that was like the best thing for me to get to next. But they didn't quite let me get in there anyway, just because of like
Mhm.
some type of readings. Like her heartbeat was flickering, and like it wasn't as secure as they wanted it to be. But that was its own whole thing. So I kind of have been pensive about my next journey. Like I feel like I will decide to get pregnant again, and I wanted to know how to move forward with that, with like preparation and even the actual day of. Like it was a whole different
Yeah.
ball game
Mhm.
between prep and um the actual day of like what I was doing. I'm like, I feel like all that information I tried to hold on to went out the window. So
Yeah.
I am excited to hear what you have to say on the matter.
Oh, honestly, like I just dabbled on it a little bit. I won't lie, I don't have any children just yet.
Oh,
So,
okay.
yeah, so that's why it was kind of like when he added that on there, I was like, wait, wait, wait,
Oh.
wait, what do you mean? But it was only because, not but, and it was only because I did dabble. He mentioned it, and I dabbled into it. I was like, I don't have any children.
Mm,
However, I am fully aware that I also said that for my first child, I would like to have in the ocean because of
mm-hmm.
um, the waves, the sound waves that the dolphins, surrounded by
Oh
dolphins,
yeah.
like they heighten the intellectual essence of like the fetus in the in the womb. So that's why I
Mm,
was just like,
okay.
ooh, so I would love my first child to experience that, because it's, for one, it's such a big responsibility to be the first child of anything. You know what I mean? Like just the first of
Right.
anything. Because
Yeah.
you're setting the pathway to the rest of the ones that are coming after. And then I was saying that
Exactly. Yeah.
those after, I wanted to give birth in a river, with the
Mhm.
spring water, with the clear, pure waters. So that way, at least it'll still be in a setting where it's outside, natural, instead of four walls,
Mhm.
which
Yeah.
can hold other energies. And since you're not really able to cleanse out the
The
space,
space.
you
Yeah.
know, hospitals have a lot of people that go in and out. Some of them make it, some of them don't. So babies, being that they're coming directly from the essence of our universal womb, they're sensitive to those type of things. So
Mm.
this is with the idea, the notion of what I was saying, that I would like to not have in a hospital, not even in a home, like not knocking anyone else of what they would like. I would
Right.
just prefer it to be in a place and, you know, um,
Exactly.
cleanse it out, knowing that that energy and space is specifically for that birthing. There's a little bubble there, so
Right.
that was possible. Like when I said that, that's probably like, oh, you're qualified, you can talk to them. I was just like, okay. um as far as like prepping, because I do sell essential oils, so
Okay.
you can use oils in that process. There
Mm.
have women that have used the oils to prep for the birthing, um for their birthing time,
Mhm.
through like before, the during, and the post after.
Okay.
So
Mhm.
oils do help with the soothing, with the initiating, and then sewing you back up, So
Right. Yeah.
yeah, just um it's just a lot of, honestly, I don't know what else to dabble into that. I don't want to go too deep. As I said, I have not experienced it myself. Have I been
Okay.
around other individuals? Yeah, I've seen the process and everything like that. And I've watched it on, videos and things like that. But I don't want to dabble too further into that without actually having pure,
Right.
uh,
The real time experience,
yeah,
understanding.
that
Yeah, I
part.
get that.
Yeah, so I can
Okay.
give you ideas all day, However,
Mhm.
if it's like at least one hands-on, um, I wouldn't really want to dabble into that. But yeah. And the other
I
subject
think
is,
the
mhm,
oh, I'm sorry. My audio had cut out, so I couldn't quite hear you. It looks like I think the only other topic that you talked on was, or that was at least listed out on the flyer, was the ancestry calling.
okay. Yeah, there were actually fours. I can't remember. At the moment, I'm not recalling what the fourth one was.
Hmm.
Ancestral calls are basically keeping altars in your home.
Oh,
Um, your video went out, so I didn't know if you were still there.
yeah. I'm
um,
sorry. It's
yeah,
giving me an issue really quick.
yeah,
Yeah, it's been a tricky day. I see.
yeah. It's okay.
But
The energies have been, look. That Leo is bringing that fire, and on the way in and
yeah,
on the way out,
yeah,
during all of it. So yeah, it's
yeah. All throughout at this point.
yeah. So yeah, as far as the ancestral calling, candles, using the elements can help a lot with that. Tapping into your own elements and the
Hmm.
ones that give you the strength to continue on a day-to-day basis.
Hmm.
But there can be elements that can also be connected to other essence, that are around you. And from what you remember,
Right.
their presence um, embodied. So I
Okay.
I have I had a cousin that she was very, smooth sailing like water, you know. So I could connect through water with her. I
Mm.
my grandmother is airy because she shows up to me as a bird. So
Oh wow.
yeah, so if I'm outside and the wind hits my face, I can sometimes smell her scent because, she's around me or I called on to her. My other aunt, she shows up in a frog form. So
Hmm.
her she's more like earthy, but a
They're kind
blend
of
of
earthy
water.
water.
You know what I mean? So yeah, so she's kind of like a blend of the two. So I want to make sure that when I set up my altar, I am putting things that they also like, not just things that I believe would help um with my life currently. So I want to
Mm.
put things on there that, I would like, oh, grandma used to like her little, roses. So let me put a little rose right there just so she knows, hey, I'm thinking about you, my love. You know,
Mm.
um, or just scents, fragrances. You can put um, water for cleansing for purity. You could put what is it? The wine, because the wine is like a representation of blood, the thickness of it, and how connected you can be.
Mm.
You can put alcohol in there, like on the side for those that, excuse my language, but he said I could be myself, right? I'm gonna be
Right.
myself
Yeah.
person, everything. Okay, cool. Because I'm just, I kind of just coming down from a moment of clarity, processing things that kind of occurred yesterday. So I'm kind of
Mm.
just getting into my mojo now. I was actually silent all this rising. So
Mm.
this is my first time speaking today, like kind
Oh,
of essence. So
okay.
that's why I'm getting in the flow of it. But yes, you have those ancestors that like to get fucked up. So you know what I mean? Sometimes
Yeah,
you can throw those
respectfully, yeah.
ancestors like in there, you know what I mean? You put that shit up in there and be like, look, Theo, this is for you, and then look, and this is for you, and it's you know what I mean? Also, other
Right,
stuff.
yeah.
I know y'all like two different things, okay? And it's okay with that, but that's just paying homage to them to let them know I haven't forgotten about you. Also, I would like to ask for a favor. I would like to ask you for protection or guidance or something that's going on in my life right now. Not necessarily. You could just come around because I just need some feminine or masculine energy that's from beyond that I haven't been able to find on earth yet. You know,
Mm.
things like that. It's the calling is you could use fire, candles. Hands down, candles are usually one of the ways, a little gateway into calling them onto us. Fire has a like, the sun is fire. The
Right.
moon is light. It's another form of, enlightenment. So yeah, it's just a beautiful thing.
All
So
right.
that's usually a couple of things that I have. I have a couple of altars out. So yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Right now I just have the one, and I did get into like using the moon water and using
Mhm.
candles, the incense. I have like a little mini table that's for my ancestors specifically when I decide to put my offerings up there.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I've just gotten started into like doing altars and finding the ways to make
Mhm.
offerings. I think in a
Yeah.
lot of ways I had a disconnect to a degree from my family, just from my mom's own personal decisions. So
Mhm.
I'm like finding my ways back with even the family that's still here, but just showing reverence in general to the people that I've passed on from my bloodline. Like even my dad had passed at some point,
Mhm.
or like maybe a couple years back. I want to say now.
Mhm.
And I didn't really have too much of a relationship with him, but knowing that like I've talked to him and I've spoken to him and I've felt his love like even from a distance. So it was something for me to kind of come into and like, okay, well, I don't have the deepest relationship with all of you, but I do show reverence to you. And
Mhm.
kind of giving that time to really show up, and even if I'm lacking in my consistency right now, but we're working on that. As said, none of this is linear.
Mhm.
But just taking time to show them like, okay, well, yeah, like even if I didn't have this time with you here on earth, I'm going to show you at least some respects over time in spirit.
Yeah. Yeah, so when it comes to mind, you can even say something, speak something into existence. Even when he pops into your mind, sometimes when they pop into my mind, I'm like, "Ooh, you got a message for me?" Or "Are you okay?" Because maybe sometimes they may need a little break or some type of. It's okay. So because there's so much to this.
Right.
You can have ancestors that were living and were still your spirit guide. Then when they passed away, they're still attached to your purpose. So, or you can have ancestors that you've never met ever in your life, yet they're there specifically to help you throughout your journey. Then you have other ancestors that have passed, but they were with you for a specific time and then they reincarnated so they can finish their own karma. So you have like a lot of moving aspects, and the time in essence is not the same here as it would be there. So they move a little
Mm.
bit differently than we do. They don't have the same type of rules that we do. And at
Right.
the same time, they may have rules that we don't have. However, it can be, I don't want to say limiting because it's never been I don't want to say limiting because it's not an aspect of limitation. It's just
Right.
an aspect of knowing, because when you
Mm.
know something, you move a little different. Like, I
Right.
know that if this happens, this is going, cause and effect, this is going to happen. So
Mm-hmm.
on that side is more so like I know because there's so much more connected to universal law. So that's why
Right.
I say it's kind of limiting, because there's just like hands down you can't cross these boundaries because you're on
Yeah.
this side. But when we're on this side and we're just exploring and having our human experience and doing what you want to do, like they're like, yeah, you can do whatever fuck you want to do, but guess what? You still need to answer to that either here or there. So either one, pick
Mm-hmm.
one, you know. So it'd be like that, and that kind of stuff. Um, Let me see what else. What else? There's so much more. I feel like I'm missing a lot, and I'm just touching in on little bases.
Yeah.
And like I said, I'm just now starting to talk, so it's just like my personality didn't wake up all the way today.
Oh yeah. Well, either way, so we're still having a good conversation. So I'm glad.
Yeah, yeah, because I was looking at the this past lunar eclipse. Man, they call it a solar eclipse. They call it a
Yeah.
solar eclipse, which to me, like a solar eclipse is if the sun goes over the moon, then it's solar, right? So I'm over here.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was solar or lunar because it was supposed to be on the opposite side of the planet, like over there in Europe or something like that.
Mm. Okay.
So we couldn't necessarily see it. It wasn't in our eye to see the actual thing. However,
Right.
it's
It wasn't in our visual.
yeah, that energy was gonna go and spread wherever it was gonna spread anyway. So
Mm-hmm.
yes, and I was looking into that and I paired that with how my alignment, like what I was going through recently, and it was just saying so much. And then I did that to a couple of other people because I was kind of curious and they were
Right.
feeling like they were battling with what they were going through. So I was just like, ooh, let me see. I'm a Virgo, and how did this past lunar effect affect me, right? And they were all saying the same thing. We're all shedding. We are all
Mm-hmm.
shedding from our old self into our new self right now. And not
Mm.
specifically in my chart, it was saying that my grand purpose is to figure out the balance between relationships, because of
Mm.
apparently um my Neptune is in Capricorn, and I am
Okay.
a Gemini sun. So
Okay.
they kind of square each other. And so basically they're just doing a lot of this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, a lot of
Because
tussles.
Gemini is just like, let me be free, butterfly. And
Yeah.
then the other side of me, which would be the Capricorn side, is more sturdy, get the stuff done. What are you doing? You're slacking, you're lollygagging. And another thing that I wanted to speak up on is the how the mental chemicals correlate with the spiritual gifts. If
Mm.
that, so dyslexia. Dyslexia is
Okay.
one of the first ones that I realized that I deal with. So I don't want to proclaim it, so that's why I didn't say I am. So I just say I deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And it's not a disorder. It is and not even a disease. It is a gift. Because if I know how to channel it with my spirituality and how everything goes on, then that is a gift, and I can use that for my advantage and also for advantage of other people. So
Right.
dyslexia, you know how you kind of switch letters and numbers and all those kind of things. Well, we were dyslexic people. We're not really meant to. We're here to decipher things. So we don't think things through all the way that other people might see it, because we see it in a distorted matter. We see it on a backwards matter, like backwards. So
Okay.
that's why, like, when it comes to things, I'm very innovative, and I think about a lot of ideas. I get a lot of ideas and things like that, and it's because I'm not restricted to. I allow my dyslexia to come out. Even in my speech, it comes out, and I just like reverse stuff, and I'm like, did I just say what I think when I said? I had a hiccup. I was like, oh fuck it, and then I just keep going, because it's just like, okay, well, if it said it backwards, or if it says something that wasn't supposed to be, then maybe
Mhm.
that's what it was supposed to be anyway, because it happened. So instead of fighting it, just go with the flow.
Okay.
And I learned how to do that. And then the second one that I kind of was brought to my attention was autism. And through my drawings, people were looking at, man, this one guy, he was telling me, he was like, have you done shrooms? I was like, no. He looked at my drawing, he was like, are you sure you haven't done shrooms? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, well, you don't need it, you're already there. I was like, oh, that's dope. And then
That's,
when I
that sounds cool.
yeah, I don't know, if I can talk about this, but y'all said freely, so I'm about to speak freely. I don't care. So yeah, so when I actually did the micro dosing, I didn't feel anything. I didn't feel anything until I paired it with the marijuana, and that
Mm.
had me super hyphen focused to
Oh
where
yeah.
what I was pondering on doing for like 2 weeks, I did it in like half hour. And I
Hmm.
was just like, oh my goodness, if my life went like this more often, I would get so much done. You know what
Yeah,
I
it
mean?
kind of turns it into a speed run. Like
Yes,
gives you that
yes.
hyper focus that you need.
Like getting those chemicals going. So later on, after that, I found out, I kind of knew they thought it was bipolarism. My parents did, because they were like, why is she angry? And then she's okay. And then she's angry again. And then she's okay. And then happy. And then sad. And it's just like fluctuating so much. First off, I'm female. So we do that.
That's
Not to make an
happens.
excuse or nothing like that. It's just, that's just,
Moon ruled. Can
yes.
change on a dime. Hmm.
Yes. I didn't read this in a book or anything like this. This was kind of like a download that kind of dropped. And so you could take it if it resonates with you or if it doesn't. I feel as though our emotions must regulate more than men's, because of the fact that we bring in different personalities. So we have to be flexible to bring in those different entities, beings, souls, lights, whatever they are, through our vessel. You know what I
Right.
mean? So in order to even handle all of that hot mess that comes with that, this is why um we're different in that aspect to men. So not negating, they have their powers, we have our powers. So
Right.
not to use it as an excuse that, oh, we're emotional individuals. Yes, we're emotional because we must remain flexible to what is
Right.
in our bodies, all the
Right.
changes that come when children come, or not children,
Right.
children, because the etymology, that's not the proper word to use. So that's how I use soul beings. So
Right.
yeah, and I done lost where I was going with all this hot mess. See,
Well, you
oh,
were talking initially about the spiritual gifts of the
yes.
autism.
So yeah, so the autism would be kind of like paired with like the Capricornism type, because I have my OCD moments, and when something shifts in my daily routine, I do get frustrated. I get frustrated easily. I get angered. I'm like, ah, and then come out the way that I wanted it. That's the autism within me. Um, because autism is like, you can't put me in a box. However,
I
I
need the
need
structure.
this to be in a box, or because if it's not in a box, then I'm gonna go fucking crazy. However, don't put me in the box though, because I won't be able to channel the things that I'm able to channel, because I don't think like you. You get what I'm
Right.
saying? So it's kind of
Hmm.
like, now you're having dyslexia. I'm already not thinking like a lot of people. I see things distorted. I see things backwards. I see things in other ways. But now you're pairing it with this. autism, where it's just like I need the structure, yet I'm lacking it because now later on in life, they were like, girl, you got ADHD like a mother. And I was like, what? So I took the test. They told me I had the highest form of ADHD. I was like, oh my God. I was like, so this makes a lot of sense. I was like,
Right. Yeah.
makes a lot of sense why my brain is wanting to find structure and yet is bouncing all over the place. And I'm a Gemini on top of that. So
Yeah.
I'm just like,
Oh,
I want
I'm
to
sorry.
find it. I'm trying to find that balance, that structure, that groundedness, and that's the journey that I'm on right now. So that
Yeah.
with the planetary alignments and what I was saying with the whole relationship, literally in my chart. Not to say that I am bound to the chart. I can always
Of
change the chart,
course.
utilize different energies, pull from different places, and become my own individual and my own person.
Of
However,
course.
it's still there for a guide. Like the planets were aligned perfectly the way that they were uniquely for me when I was born, so that when I'm at this point in time in life trying to figure something out about me and where I fit, it
Right.
helps.